All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, we are here with the one and only. We got the living legend. He has had his music in video games, ESPN, the list goes on, man. This guy is a living legend, and he is none other than Vietnam. And we got him live on the line. How are you doing this evening?
Hey, what's going on, bro? Man, I appreciate the opportunity to get on the radio with you, man. It's been a minute.
Hey, man, most definitely, bro. And I appreciate you as well for just giving us a little bit of your time this evening as well.
Yeah, most def, man. So how's everything going on with you, man?
So far so good. Where our country's slowly starting to open back up, so we're hitting phase one actually come the end of the week. So we get to go into stores and I can finally buy some summer clothes, so I don't have to be sitting around in my jeans sweating my ass off.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. You know, this whole COVID thing, man, just took the whole country, really the whole world. You know what I mean? And just put us in a crazy situation. And I try to use some of that time to get into the music, but at the same time, I was worried about the family, and just trying to keep up on everything. And I think the worst part I did for myself was watch the news, because the news just pumps so much fear into you. So it kind of made a lot of people just go crazy. You know what I mean?
I most definitely agree. The media most definitely is a son bitch, to be honest with you, man. That's what I call the media.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was out there, rushing to stack up on food and all the, supplies that we needed. Next, I'm spending $2-3 grand, and thinking that, we're gonna run out of stuff. And after a couple of months, you just realize, like, all right, man, it ain't that bad.
Like, I never would have thought 2020 and 2021 would have been the drought of like toilet paper, man. I'm not even gonna lie. I was scared that I wouldn't be able to wipe my own ass.
Yeah, man. I had a situation, man. My buddy hit me up and said, "Hey, man, this store's got some toilet paper." I go to rush up there, and on my way out there, I drop my phone. I drive over my phone, man. I'm like, "You got to be kidding me, man!" Like, it was just, "Oh, let's go get some toilet paper,"
But I got to ask you, man. I want to take you back to the beginning, back when the world, wasn't as crazy, man. Back when things were kind of normal for everybody. But I got to ask, man, like, what actually inspired and actually sparked you to get into the music industry initially? Because I know, you have a crazy story of just getting into the music industry.
Yeah, I mean, as you figure, I started before Facebook, MySpace. So we're talking back when, basically you're pressing CDs and you walking around and you're trying to get your, CDs to hand and all that type of stuff. So, I started back, like, really far as, like, pressing CDs and stuff like that. I would say around, like, 98 is when I really started taking the music and trying to do something with it. And back then, when we recorded, because everything was analog, we would have to do a straight take. If somebody screwed up, we had to redo it. And when I started off as a group. Our group's called Ironhearts. It originally was first God's Forgotten Soldiers, GFS, and then we switched to Ironhearts. And then, just my rap partner going through personal life situations, he just really wasn't in the music anymore, so I decided to take that torch and keep moving forward. As you see the song The Streets I Have, he's featured on there, so I still kept him along with me and hoping that he can get back into the game with me. But basically, I started off, like I said, just pressing CDs. I had got a little consignment deal with, like, Sam Goodies, and we got our first set of CDs in there. And basically, for us, which was crazy, we sold a couple copies, but since they lost our entire catalog, so they had to pay us for it. So we sold a ton of CDs because of their error. You get what I'm saying? So that kind of helped as well. Even though it's weird, people would rather want to sell their CDs hand to hand, or have the CDs sold to people. But only a couple of our first CDs were sold to people, and the rest was lost. We think it's more of they just got rid of it because there was other Baltimore artist CDs in there, and they were cool with the manager, and so we think it was a little hate on that. But we can't prove that. But bottom line is we got a paycheck. And from that point on, we just kept on moving on. Like I said, I just kind of went my own way, and I did the rock for my city, and that basically opened up a lot of lanes for me. ESPN, that was on the Unite show. Then Tony Hawk's YouTube channel, they used that on there. And then within, I want to say maybe a year and a half ago, Riot Games licensed it. And, just all those lanes wound up getting a lot of streams towards that single. And that single, basically being on the album, One Life to Live, eventually reached over 1 million streams on Spotify. I think we're actually at 4 million streams now to date. And just being on there and just being the way I work, a lot of artists, really like the legends, Sadat X, J Hood, those fellas that's been in the game for years, they pretty much was like, hey, we'll work with you. So I have a joint with Sadat X I haven't released yet. I have the joint with J Hood, which you have sent over to you, and then I actually have a song with Kinetic 9. We call him Beretta 9 from Killer Army. I have a joint with him that I have to release as well. So just some crazy, crazy opportunities. Also, I was down in Miami, and Noriega was actually shooting a video. It's called Petty. And he was like, hey, man, you guys want to be in my music video? All right, great. So you'll see me. I'm in the background of his music video. And this is during the Drink Champs before they got a Revolt TV. So it's just some of the stuff was perfect timing, just being at the right place, right time.
And also as well, going back quite a bit there to Ironhearts, man, I was wondering, how did yourself and Sinister Dice initially meet? Like, what's the actual story behind the formation of that phenomenal hip hop duo?
Well, how I met Sinister Dice is crazy because my homeboy, rest in peace, George Blishy, good friend of mine I grew up with, and we all had worked down at Don Shula's Steakhouse. Well, me and George, we were, servers down there, and my buddy worked in the back, like in the kitchen area. Sinister Dice worked in the back, and George was telling him, like, yo, my man Vietnam, he rapping, and y'all should meet. So we wound up clicking together, and at the same time, he started coming over to my house, and then that's when 9/11 happened. So when 9/11 happened, we both got laid off. And with all that going on, like unemployment, they kept on extending it. So I think we were on unemployment for like 2 years. So we were just in the basement, constantly just doing music. And here in Baltimore, we have DJ K Swift, rest in peace. She tried to help us get some radio play here in the city. And it was a little hard, though, because we weren't known, and some of our stuff wasn't really quality. It was analog, it wasn't mixed and mastered. But what she did was she kind of did a little trick for us because, Baltimore's known for club music. So she took an acapella off our music and made club mixes with it. So it kind of got her, our little, kind of got our name out there a little bit.
And also as well, man, just going back to Rock From My City, man, because as we already know, that's one of the most biggest songs that you've ever put out to this date. And I always wanted to know, man, what's the inspiration and story behind that song? Like, what was the creative process behind it? And did you think it was going to be as big as it is today when you actually first put that out?
Well, I was online looking at beats, and I came across the Crates. They're in Germany. They're pretty big. And I heard the beat. I was like, man, this beat's dope. I like it. And this is before these guys even got big. I mean, because the price that I got this beat is crazy. I paid $25 exclusive for this beat. That would never happen again. I mean, these guys don't even sell beats for that price at all. So I got this beat, and I was working out the Green Turtle doing security. And a buddy of mine, he does some writing for some big names in the industry, and he was like, man, you should get back to doing music. So I was like, all right, I got a beat I'm going to write to. And this basically was my first single as an independent, not being in the group. So I was like, that energy, that fire, I was like, you know what? I want to go ham on this, just try to bring out the best. And at the same time, it's Rock From My City, but it's the area, if you look at the video, at the time my son was 12 years old, so he shot the video. The video isn't really all that great, but it captures the area I grew up in, Hollandtown. So it has all that area that, that I grew up in. So it was kind of representing the area I come from and also the city. And it just, you know, it felt good to finally drop something by myself and say that I did this by myself.
And I gotta say as well, man, that song is absolutely phenomenal, man. It most definitely is probably still racking in coin today, man.
Oh yeah, definitely, and you know, it caught a lot of people's ears, you know, and it was crazy because I was pushing it down south heavy, you know, and of course, when I was pushing it down there, that's not really what the cats down there are listening to, you know, they like the trap and, you know, the chop and screw type music, but they were showing me some love for the track. They were like, hey man, we like this, you know, so they actually did a chop and screw version of it, and the cats over in France, Australia, they actually did remix to it. It's Ill Days, the Rock from My City Ill Days remix. So there's like 4 or 5 different remixes to that song because, yeah, people were definitely feeling the song. They liked it. They was like, you know, we liked the energy on it. And at the time, too, my kids were a lot younger, so I kind of wanted to do more of the clean rap. That's why that actual album has, like, no cursing on it at all. But after doing that album, I felt like I just wasn't being 100% true to me because I was on the streets, part of the streets. I mean, I no longer run in the streets anymore, but I felt like I wasn't being 100% truthful to myself. So that's why you have other types of music from me that are more grimy and street and stuff like that because, you know, my life wasn't always, you know, 100% positive.
And also as well, man, well, when we're still on the topic of Rock from My City, man, I have to ask this, man, because that song was also featured on Tony Hawk's Ride video game, man, and I just gotta ask, man, how did that actual, like, opportunity come with Tony Hawk, man, because I'm a huge Tony Hawk fan of his skateboarding and his video games, man, so when I did my research for the interview, I knew I had to just ask that question.
Well, basically, I dealt with a company at the time called White House Publishing, and what they did was they looked for music for different companies, licensing deals, and you know, basically this particular licensing deal was only for promotion, so it wasn't like I got paid off of it, because, like I said, I really didn't have anything going on. You know, I didn't have anything going on when I brought that song out. I was just an independent artist from Baltimore. I didn't have any plaques or anything or any kind of recognition at the time. So they were like, hey, you know, we'll put your song on this. You know, we just gotta, you know, you gotta sign these contracts and so on and so on. And you know, it was all non-exclusive, so I could still continue doing what I was doing with my music. And so I was like, yeah, great, because I mean, I grew up, you know, skateboarding, and Tony Hawk's, you know, one of my biggest fans. You know, I love Tony Hawk. You know.
Oh man, most definitely. I'm not gonna lie, man. I think when I was younger, I probably broke my tailbone a couple times actually to your music, man. Because I remember that was the actual interactive video game where you actually had the board and everything, man. I'm not gonna lie, I sucked at skateboarding, but you know what I mean. Just doing that, I think I busted my tailbone a couple times.
Yeah, you know, that's, you know, growing up as you know, a kid in the '80s. You know, that's what we did a lot, skateboarding back then. And I would listen to the Fat Boys and Beastie Boys and Run DMC. And then later on, you know, you get into, you know, LL Cool J, Cool Mo D, and it just kept on going, you know, further and further, and especially with NWA coming out. And once they came out, it was game over, you know. We got into all the you know, the gangster rap. And, you know, I fell in love with the West Coast music. That's why, if you look at some of my videos, I'm wearing, you know, the Dickies and stuff like that, you know, because I love that West Coast music. So, you know, I've always wanted to, you know, work with the artists on the West Coast. I just haven't had an opportunity to, you know, really do anything on that level yet.
And I have to ask as well, man, was it the same publishing company that actually got you, like, that deal with ESPN as well?
Yes. Yeah, they're the same ones. Those two got it through, like I said, they handled, the ESPN was the first one, and then Tony Hawk's YouTube was the second one. It's the YouTube Ride channel. So they got me on both of those. And then, like I said, Riot Games actually reached out to me because they, I guess, was going through Spotify. for what they said, and they came across my song, was like, hey, what is this? And the guy that I had my contact information on there, and they reached out to me, and that actually was a paid license deal, non-exclusive. So that was real great, to get a nice size paycheck for less than 20. I think it was like 20 seconds of my music. Basically, they have it was some type of video game competition. It's W2 I think it's W2 something like that. I'm not really big into the video games anymore, but I mean, my kids were excited. They're like, oh, I know who that is. So basically, he was going in for some type of championship. So he's over in South Korea. He's from South Korea, South Korea. And when he's talking, and it's like getting ready to bring him on, that's when the music comes on. Like, this is how I rock from my city, and he loving it. So it was just great the way they brought that whole video in. And of course, that being on there and people seeing that, they went and bought the single and streamed it and viewed it more, so it gave me more views.
And also as well, jumping ahead in 2020, you actually dropped the phenomenal single titled 60 Days. I was wondering if you could tell our listeners a bit more about this phenomenal joint, and of course, where can we actually stream or purchase that single today?
Well, it's funny, right, because 60 Days is actually my first song that I ever made. So it's actually from back in that time when we first started. So it's me, Sinister Dice, Sonny Orley, and Fat Cat. So that was the kind of the group thing that I told you we first started off. So I decided to go through some of my old music and see if I can get it online and, just try to clean it up as much as I could. So it's actually on all the platforms. You just type in Vietnam 60 Days with a Z instead of an S, and you'll find it. And that's one of my first beats I ever produced. So, I tried to get into the beat thing back then. So that's actually one of the first beats I ever made. But you can tell, like I said, listening to music today versus that, you'll definitely hear some of the stuff. You'll be like, okay, yeah, it's kind of a little off, as far as like the analog sound, doesn't have that clear digital sound. But I appreciate the comment on it, man. I appreciate the feedback on it. It's something that I felt like I just wanted to take some of that old music, and I didn't want it to go to waste. Like, I wanted to actually put it back out there because there's a whole world out there. There's people that's never even heard of me, and heard any of my music. So, when somebody comes across and like, hey, who's this guy? And they check my music out, that's a chance for me to reach more fans and more people, all across the world.
And also as well, for the individuals that don't already know who you are, that are listening, right after this interview, man, I'm going to be actually playing the song The Grind that you actually did alongside Bomb. And I was wondering, man, for the people that don't know this song, can you tell our listeners a bit more about this phenomenal joint? And of course, what can they expect if this is the first time they're actually hearing it?
Yeah, that project is my man Chesko. He's from over I want to say, I'm going to get it right, I believe Switzerland. Either Switzerland or Sweden. But he's another individual that was doing a project, and he decided to reach out to me, and he was like, hey, man, I like your music. Would love for you to be a part of this project. And because of that opportunity, that's the first time I've ever been on a vinyl. So I actually have a vinyl with 2 songs on it. It's Hard Road Volume 2. And Bomb is... he's another dope artist here from Baltimore, and basically Chesko was like, hey, man, can you get a couple artists on there? And so basically I think it was like 5 songs total, but I'm only on 2 of them. So I reached out to Bomb, and I got him on this track. And it's basically we're talking about our experiences, man. Both of us from the streets. We've had some rough issues on the streets, and been lucky to get past that and still be here. So that's basically what that song's all about. I think they'll definitely like it. I mean, if you like that 90s Mobb Deep Wu-Tang type vibe, you'll definitely love this song.
And also as well, man, you are actually the CEO over at Dominant Music Group. I was wondering if you can tell our listeners just a bit more about your company, and of course, who is actually signed to you today?
Yeah, so basically, once I started receiving royalty checks, and just getting more and more into the music business, I decided, let me go ahead and start my own music label. So I opened up an LLC, and I actually have 2 artists under me. I have Rude, and I have another artist. God, I'm sorry. I had took a nap earlier to make sure I was up in time for this. God, he's gonna kill me if I can't remember his name.
I'm pretty sure he'll understand, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll get back to. I'm trying to get myself up now. But yeah, I have basically 2 artists under my label. And they do more of the newer style music. But one's real dope. I mean, he's really good with the lyrics. He's got them bars.
But also, I gotta ask you there, Vietnam, man, because I know we covered a lot of stuff during this interview, but I know we only covered just a sliver of your career, man, because you have such an extensive history within hip-hop. But I gotta ask you, what is next for you, man? Is there anything we happen to miss? Any new projects coming out? Anything else you still want to talk about or promote while we still have you here live on the Canadian airwaves?
Yeah, basically, I mean, I'm in a couple little independent movies that we're still waiting for them to drop. I don't know because of COVID or whatever, they haven't dropped them out yet, but I'm in a couple. One's called Percocet for sure. That's something that's pretty big hit. It's supposed to drop hopefully within the next year or so. And then I have, like I said, my new projects that I'm working on. I have, like I said, joined with Sadat X. I have something with Beretta 9. I have something with Planet Asia, Killer Priest, and one more artist, DMC, for Run DMC. So basically, it's just all on my table. I mean, all those guys already finished their parts and everything, so it's all on me to finish it, get it mixed and mastered, and get it out there.
And I gotta say, I'm most definitely looking forward to the DMC of Run DMC collaboration, man. That's gonna be absolutely phenomenal. I can just picture it now. Vietnam and DMC together, man. I don't know, man. Y'all better get some insurance on your home equipment, man, because I'm telling you, those speakers are gonna freaking melt.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm just like, happy to even have that opportunity, especially, growing up listening to that, their group and, like I said, some of these artists, man, just growing up listening to them and having that opportunity to work with them, it's awesome.
But also, Vietnam, this is the time in the interview, man, that I give a chance for the individual that slides into the radio station airwaves right before we wrap things up, just to give a chance to give shout-outs to whomever they want to give shout-outs to. But most of all, man, your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated on everything Vietnam if they're not already doing so.
Yeah, pretty much all my social media is Vietnam 410, except for Instagram. It's Vietnam 410. Basically, just want to shout out everybody that supports my music and everybody that's, just out there doing this thing, man. This is a beautiful thing. It's worldwide, and, we have a good platform right now, especially like platforms like, what you have going on. You're all the way out in Canada, I'm down here in the U.S., and we're able to chop it up and talk about music, and, it's a beautiful thing.
Hey man, most definitely. I just do what I do for the love of real hip hop, man. And it's artists like yourselves that are actually keeping real hip hop alive and not going into this like mainstream. I can't even call it hip hop. Skinny jean bullshit is what I call it. But you're still trying to keep that real hip hop alive, man. And that's what I want to do as well. So if you have real hip hop, you already know I'm most definitely going to feature you on the radio station, and that is exactly what you have.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Oh, also, before I go, J Horror. That's my artist. Now, I couldn't think of his name. J Horror, definitely check out his music. The boy's bad. I mean, the beats, the lyrics, everything. Definitely check him out. Rude, another dope artist. Like I say, Rude's more of the newer style, but not all the way in. Like I said, I don't knock really the new style. It's just not my thing. But J.R., the way he goes, I mean, he's dope. He's got them bars, man.
But I gotta say,
he actually did a song with Jay Kinser. they have a song together. I'm not sure if you interviewed Jay or not, but those two got a song together, man. That's fire.
I don't believe I have interviewed him yet, but I don't believe I have.
Okay, yeah, he's definitely another dope MC. I believe he's up from like I want to say like Boston area. I believe he's from up that way. But yeah, the song them two got together is called Beware of Bars. Definitely dope. I'm definitely going to get at you anyway with Jay Har because I'm talking to, with you. Definitely get some music over to you.
Most definitely, man. If he sends it, I most definitely will spin it. No problem on that one for sure.
Definitely appreciate it. Yeah, you'll definitely like it, man. Like I said, we're all about the boom bap, that 90s style, that grimy, bar for bar, no mumble rap, strictly hip hop, man.
Hey, man, you had me at strictly hip hop, man. You had me right at that. So most definitely, man, let's get it. I appreciate you, Vietnam, and definitely, man, have yourself an amazing night out there in the U.S. And hopefully down the line we can make this happen again sometime soon.
Definitely appreciate you, bro.
Most definitely appreciate you as well, man. Have yourself a great night.
You too, man. Take care. Peace.